Hello and welcome to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Chris Lehman with you here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, joined alongside by Logan Ward and Graham Tuck of the Carolina Thunderbirds as well. And guys, it is a monumental day today for the Atlantic Coast Collegiate Hockey League. We're getting a look at it now. It'll be the first ever women's hockey game in ACCHL history. It's going to be a big game today.
Absolutely monumental. It's fantastic to see things like this gaining traction and gaining momentum, really. And this is a key moment in history here for the ACCHL, getting things going here. And we've already heard there's going to be a lot more to come out of this league.
Yes, indeed. And we had the Commissioner Wally talk to us earlier today, speaking that in addition to these two teams, George Washington and NC State, Liberty and West Virginia are also in the books for next year, as well as two others which he didn't name. So it's interesting to see how much further it can expand for next year.
And this is really going to be an exciting game to watch here as we get our first look at ACCHL women's hockey. And it looks like they're just about set for the national anthem here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Both teams line up along the goal line, and they will announce the starting lineups. Now you get a look at defenseman Shelby Weaver, a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native, in the starting lineup, along with their captain, number 7, Trinity Diaz. But this is something that's been pushed for in the hockey community, really kind of nationally. We saw at the NHL All-Star Game this year, the women's showcase at the skills competition between Team Canada and Team USA. So the ACCHL joining in that and in this movement.
And I think that really has to do with the growth of hockey as a sport as a whole, really, in the South. As it gets bigger here, we're going to see that push grow in momentum, and we're going to see more and more teams sprouting up, especially as a part of these collegiate programs who get so many transplants from up north. You're going to see a lot of teams start cropping up, and it's really going to gain some traction.
And Graham, to let you talk about these teams a little bit, we haven't seen a whole lot out of these teams yet. This is their first couple of games in the history of these two teams. What do you expect to see out of them today?
So one thing that's interesting for NC State, obviously their first game ever, but George Washington has played a little bit so far. They haven't had a whole lot of offensive production as far as they've gone, and they're looking for their first win as a program as well, joining NC State in that search. But one thing to look for them is solid defensive play, and it'll be interesting to see how they can get their line changes off, because their roster is only 11 deep. 4 defensemen, 6 forwards, and 1 goalie. So it'll be very crucial to see how quickly they can get on and off the ice to preserve that energy.
Well, and there you get a look at the girl I'd like to talk to about for NC State. That's Veronica Heil, the goaltender, Logan, and she's been a leader for this team in getting them started.
Yeah, instrumental, really, in getting that team started. But we're going to take a little bit of a break here for the national anthem.
We're going to wrap it up here for just a moment. National anthem here at Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. We'll be right back. And there's the tail end of the national anthem here in Winston-Salem. The first of 3 games today. We'll have 2 men's semifinals following this women's championship game between NC State and George Washington. Chris Lehman alongside Logan Ward and Graham Tuck here up atop the press box at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, and both teams getting set. We'll talk a little bit more about what to expect with these two teams, as it looks like we'll have a ceremonial puck drop as well. And I'll start by talking to you here, Graham. You mentioned it a little bit earlier before the broadcast, but we'll have a youth team, a youth girls team out there at the intermissions.
That's the Lady Ice Hawks of the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex as well. I believe the age range is basically middle and high schoolers, so 6th through 12th grade, and a lot of that program's growth and a lot of youth hockey has, in North Carolina specifically, has been attributed to the Junior Canes program and everything that the Carolina Hurricanes have done in the state of North Carolina, not only to grow the sport of hockey in general, but youth hockey and women's hockey, as we're seeing here today with the Lady Icepack.
There's the ceremonial puck drop. The captains out there for both sides. Trinity Diaz for GW and for the Pack. That's number 16, the sophomore Emily Peterson. But talk to you a little bit. We started to get into the goaltender discussion a little bit, but it looks like this could be a pretty big goaltending battle, and we mentioned Veronica Heil will be a big part of that for NC State.
Absolutely, and she's been instrumental in getting that program off the ground. She's been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work, really getting the word out about this women's hockey team, really starting the foundation and starting the bedrock for what's yet to come. And, of course, George Washington getting their program started up here as well in the ACC. So, of course, both teams looking for their first win here today. This is a big game for both teams and a big game for the ACC as a whole.
And we've got both teams heading out for the opening face-off. NC State in the all-red. They'll move left to right here in the first period. In the white tops, white socks, and blue shorts, it'll be George Washington moving right to left. Things ready to get started here as we've put 20 minutes up on the clock. And it looks to be Diaz and Peterson, who were there for the ceremonial puck drop, set for the opening face-off as well. And they'll check with the netminders. Everything's ready to go. And they'll battle for it off the opening draw. Loose puck picked up by Spencer Neville. She'll carry it down the far wing and circle back behind the net. Plenty of space, looking up to the near point. It's deflected back to the wall. Neville has it again. Into the corner, shuffled along by Peterson. Couldn't force it back behind her own net. Still loose in that near corner. And they'll scrum along the wall. Kelsey Holt forces it into open ice. Peterson comes away with it, and she has space to move up. But a good little defensive sequence there from NC State, able to hold the Colonials to the outside on the offensive end.
And that was a strong start for the Colonials. They're just trying to get things going here on offense. But they were really met by the Icepack defense very well there off the start.
With some speed up the near wing. It'll be an odd man rush if they move quickly. In comes Shelby Weaver, cutting to the middle, and a great defensive play made by the NC State defender. It's going to be a little bit tough there. I believe that's Carrie Gaudet de l'Estard who makes that play. She's got the long ponytail that's covering her number. But she'll work it up the near boards. Neville there to dispossess and turn it right back deep.
One thing that'll be interesting to see with two teams like this, you would think that physical play would be a big part of a hockey game like this. But interesting to note, for women's hockey, body checking is illegal, so keep in mind out for that.
And so look for a little bit more space on the ice. Stretch pass stretches all the way down the ice, and it'll be tracked down behind the net by Lauren Bolger. She'll wrap it around the near wall. Collected near the blue line by Elise Borelli. Moves it into neutral ice. Turned right back by NC State. Some speed coming forward. In on goal, and they score! The first of the season, the first in the history of the program. It's Hannah Murphy, the Raleigh native, putting NC State up 1-0.
That was just a great job by Murphy of getting in front. She beat the defense there, just got exactly the shot she was looking for, just beat the goaltender in net. There's not much that she could really do to react to that one.
And a lot of speed there, Graham, and you mentioned no body checking leaves space for that speed.
Yeah, it's hard to be physical on defense when you can't throw your body around like a lot of the men that we saw yesterday were doing. So stick play is going to be very crucial here for the Colonials on defense.
Well, I've done a good job off the draw again, working down the near wing. Jenna Moreau, backhand pass to the middle, is sent right back into the corner. Swept up to the point, can't be held in by the GW defense, and they'll chase after it. First one there is Bolger. She'll bank it off the boards, and it just got out as Peterson unable to hold the zone. NC State's got to check up. They'll play ping pong at the GW blue line. Forced to the middle, loose puck collected by NC State. That's Robin Peterson. Pinning it to the wall. And the Colonials will take back over in the form of Jenna Moreau. He gets it out into neutral ice, but not much further. State coming back in on an abbreviated 3-on-2, shut down nicely by the GW defense and cleared out. Chance here for the Wolfpack to reset. And you can see the two teams still trying to get comfortable out there a little bit. I think one thing we'll see here is this is going to look a little bit more like the beginning of the season for these two teams than the end, because they don't have that chemistry quite developed yet.
And they're building that, really. That's time and practice that they don't have. They're building these two programs from the bottom up, so this is really the beginning stage for both of these teams as we see more of them on this ice.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting for the Colonials is that they have played 10 games so far this season, but they've had a lot of turnover with that roster. As we said, only 11 players. We got a breakaway here.
Speaking of a turnover, here comes Shelby Weaver. Quick shot, she scores from the far circle, and we're evened up at 1 apiece.
That was just a great shot from Weaver there. You saw it basically go off of the post in, just managing to barely clip that left post. Got the friendly bounce and back into the back of the net.
Excellent stick handling there.
About 3.5 minutes into the contest, we've got a goal apiece, and both netminders have let one squeak by, but they've been pretty good chances. I think both of you would agree with that as well.
And that goal was Pittsburgh native on Pittsburgh native. Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania crime, excuse me.
Loose puck squirts into the NC State end. De La Stard will move it up along the benches, sent right back by the captain Diaz, and GW will move forward. Diaz sent to the middle off a skate, and a nice job by Heil to get the stick down and keep that one out of the net. Along the far wall, some contact. A couple of bodies go to the ice. Play continues, and NC State clears to the GW blue line. Banked up for Diaz. She'll go cross ice, tracking it down now Spencer Neville. Neville into the near corner. Stops, shields the puck, swings it to the middle, and a nice job by Hannah Murphy to send it right back to the near wall. Neville again. Has it knocked loose and out of the zone by Robin Peterson. And they'll fight for it along the wall, right at the NC State line. Diaz again with it. Bad angle shot. Nice blocker save made by Veronica Heil. De La Stard again. She'll move up the far wall. Sends it forward. Looking for someone to make a run after it, but a little bit too strong on that pass, and it'll be icing.
And despite giving up that first goal there to Weaver, the NC State defense has done a really good job of kind of keeping them in front of Heil. She's done a great job getting those blocker saves and just positioning herself very well right now in the early goings.
Absolutely, and interesting to note on that last goal from Weaver, that's her first game played this season, and of course her first point being her first game played. So that references back to that turnover in the roster that I mentioned earlier for George Washington.
You mentioned she's a Pittsburgh native as well. I wonder if she's familiar with the trend. Mario Lemieux scored on his first shot in his NHL career. She does
Perhaps.
the same for GW. Quick little shot in on Heil. She'll glove it and hold for another face-off, and that'll give NC State a chance for a much-needed change after that icing call.
NC State has been running with the same line for quite a while, but getting those subs in, they have a much deeper bench, so they're going to try to rotate in as many fresh legs as they can over the course of this game.
That's certainly something to keep an eye on. When you look at the benches over there, NC State has, looks like 7 extra bodies over there, just 5, pardon me, for George Washington, and that will make a difference as this game wears on. And it looks like a little bit of an equipment malfunction for an NC State player in front of the Icepack net. It'll be fixed, and we're ready to go again. Face-off one to the near wall, swept up to the point, held in by Weaver. She'll go D to D with Lauren Bolger. Bolger forces it down the far wall for Borelli. She'll skate it to the middle. Left on the top of the near circle for Weaver. Slapped down behind the net, Borelli again. Just over 5 minutes gone. High slot, wrist shot, hits a body in front. That was a great chance for GW that didn't get to the net.
What a keep.
Hold the zone though. Borelli, a wrister, into the breadbasket of Heil. She'll hold on for another faceoff.
And those were some great opportunities for George Washington. They got the looks that they wanted, but the defense did a good job of really just crowding in front and making sure they were defending Heil where she was at her weakest.
And it's crucial for George Washington to have that forecheck that they've had so far, because only having 4 defensemen, those back pairings are going to get tired quickly. So keeping the puck in the offensive zone as much as they can is going to be key for their success. Face
off to the glove side of Heil in that far circle. Jenna Moreau up against NC State's Emily Peterson. Peterson wins it to the corner for Gade de l'Estard. Up the wall, denied, sent right back. De l'Estard again. Banked along the near wall. Big hit laid on the near side. It was an accidental collision, it looked to be. Equipment goes flying. Play continues as the puck skitters down into the George Washington end. Lauren Bolger behind her own net. Stops. Tape to tape with a teammate along the far wall to be backhanded to the blue line. Held in by De l'Estard. Hard wrist shot. Hits traffic in front. Still loose in the slot. And it's the Colonials coming away with a loose puck. 1-on-3, and they're just going to clear it out of danger.
And that was a great job by Bolger of just being in the right place at the right time. It was a good shot, had some good air on it, but Bolger was just right there to really knock it down and take possession away.
NC State will have to chase this clearance down to their own corner. And again, it will be De l'Estard. Straight up the middle, Emily Peterson. She's got some speed. Nice poke check by Elise Borelli. But it's still NC State puck. Cross ice looking for Julie Brenneman. And a pass by De l'Estard misses the target. Now a chance for GW. Glove saved the rebounds, knocked home. The initial shot came from Spencer Neville. And it looked to be Borelli on the finish at the far doorstep.
What a great finish there from Borelli, her second goal of the season. See the replay right here. Cleans up the rebound. Heil almost had it glove side. It leaks out and just cleans up the scraps.
And we talked about it a little bit earlier. Get to the net, get pucks to the net. And that's what George Washington was able to do there. And they score on the rebound. 2-1 Colonials.
Shots on goal, 7-1 in favor of the Colonials at this point. That's just staggering.
We'll see if NC State can get their second here. Speed for Hannah Murphy, the lone goal scorer, throws it off the side of the net, and her number opposite Lauren Bolger will clear it out of danger down the far side. And it won't have enough on it for icing, so Erika Jacobson tracks it down. A Raleigh native looking to weave through a couple of Colonials. She's pickpocketed. In comes Borelli, looking for a second. Deeks, and a nice left pad save by Veronica Heil. Another chance for NC State to break out. Speed on speed down the far ring. Nice button hook from Murphy. Looks to the middle, nobody there. And again, the GW defense clears it out. And that's been the toughest part for NC State, is just getting through neutral ice and getting some possession down in their offensive end.
They haven't really been able to string together much offense. They haven't gotten those consistent performance on the offensive end going yet. They're starting to get some of the looks that they want, but they haven't really had much since that first goal.
Here comes Trinity Diaz, 2-on-1 for George Washington, sent to the middle. One-time shot just wide. Heil got a stick to it. I'm not sure if it was on net, though. And NC State, again, looking to break out. Well, GW has done a great job of holding that blue line. And there goes a stick straight through the legs of the netminder, Heil.
Saw something similar to that during the UVA Georgetown game last night.
A scrum along the near wall. NC State able to clear it out into the center zone. Backhanded right back in by Diaz after gaining the red line. That'll give GW a chance to get some fresh legs on the ice. And NC State regroups. The sophomore Jacobson behind her own net. Slings it off the wall. Pinching was Weaver, but didn't get there in time. Colonials have to check up. That'll give NC State a chance to move forward. To the far side, it's Tori Boyd. Loses it in her skates. It pinballs around through neutral ice. GW in control. Number 9, Jenna Moreau, the freshman. Around one defender. Nice little move into the zone. Loses her edge, though. And they'll fight for the puck. We've got a tripping call coming. Came on the far side, and the, well, GW will leave the netminder in for now. Puck is touched. And it'll be a penalty on NC State, a 2-minute tripping minor. And we'll get our first power play of the game.
First power play of the conference, really. Going to see what can be the first opportunity for George Washington here, and if they can take advantage of it now up a man on the ice.
And Graham, if you're NC State here, the play has been in your end most of, if not the entire game. How do you kill this off? How do you keep energy when you're trying to kill off this penalty early on in this game
Well,
like this.
this is something that as working for the Thunderbirds, I'm used to seeing this because something the Thunderbirds succeed at very well is keeping the puck in the offensive zone. And the key to defeating them that opponents have figured out is neutral zone pressure.
So we'll see if NC State can get it out and then hold them out in neutral ice. There's the clearance they needed. Just 15 seconds into the man advantage for GW. Near corner, you get a look at it up close. The captain, Diaz, there, battling for it one-on-one with Murphy. And it will be George Washington coming away with possession. Cross-ice pass deflected by Murphy, but it's still Colonial puck. Borelli with some speed through the middle of the ice. Sidesteps a defender, but loses control, and NC State clears it out to the red line. Halfway through this first period, 2-1 George Washington. And they've got 1:10 left on the power play. It was a 2-minute tripping penalty to number 16, Emily Peterson. Centering pass through the crease, didn't find a stick, but it's still GW in control. And the puck thrown to the back wall, and it's pinned in the gap where the door for the Zamboni is.
See something new every day.
And you get a look there a little bit closer. Hacking at it was Borelli, and still couldn't get it out. I don't think I've ever seen
I've never seen anything like that.
Pretty well lodged in there. It was a powerful shot, but it managed to just find exactly the right way to get lodged in there.
Wow.
And the officials do a good job there. They let play continue. Once it becomes evident that that puck is not going anywhere, they blow it dead and restart. But another offensive zone faceoff for George Washington. 52 seconds left on the sentence to Emily Peterson.
George Washington hasn't really taken advantage of that power play here yet. They've gotten a couple of opportunities, but they haven't been able to get things going. Their offense just hasn't been able to find the right way to get through this shorthanded Icepack defense.
Face off one to the near point. Wrist shot, hit a stick in front, but a nice job by Heil to seal down low, and she'll cover up for another face-off.
Needed just a little bit more of a deflection there from Borelli in front to lift the puck over that blocker, but it stays close to the ice, and she's able to get a pad on it.
And a good look there from Lauren Bolger, the defenseman, just to throw it towards the net. And now it's the captain, Trinity Diaz. Centered on a backhand. One-timer went wide on the far side. Loose puck behind the net. Half a minute left now on the penalty. Diaz camped out. Centered. Nice stick from Heil. She'll clear it out to the high slot, but it doesn't get all the way out. Diaz, far point. Leaves it for Borelli. Back to Trinity Diaz. She'll take a wrister from the far point. Getting a tip to it was Spencer Neville, but couldn't tip it on net. Neville in the near corner. Slides it behind the net. Poked right back to her by Borelli. Up the boards for Bolger. Top of the near circle. Wrist shot off the skate of De La Stard and cleared out of danger. That will finish off the penalty and a chance to break free for Emily Peterson. She races down to the near corner. Beats Bolger to it. Knocked to the ice. Play continues. Centered out in front. One chance and another, and a glove save. And a horn. Not sure why, but you get a look at it. Peterson out of the box. Very physical, getting it to the front of the net.
I believe that may be the media timeout right there.
I think that's exactly what it'll be. Both teams will head to their benches. They'll talk the first 9 or 11 and a half minutes over and then get back to it. We'll be right back here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. You get a look there at both benches here a little over halfway through the first period. Chris Lehman, Logan Ward, Graham Tuck with you here at Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, home of the Carolina Thunderbirds, pardon me, and of course the ACCHL tournament going on here this week. It is a 2-1 lead right now for George Washington, and guys, I'll pass it down the line. What have you seen from these two squads so far?
Well, I would like to note that that was an excellent penalty kill from the Icepack there to really, right before this media timeout. They did a great job of defending the net and really just deterring anything that George Washington tried to get going on offense. They did a great job with their poke checks and just physical play out in front of the net.
And one thing that NC State has done is they're doing a great job of getting in the lanes for shots in the defensive zone. A lot of block shots so far. If they can transition that to central ice and block the passing lanes in between the blue lines and stop those George Washington attacks from being started in the first place, they'll be able to get a lot more pressure in the offensive zone and maybe get some more goals on the board.
And we just a moment ago got got a close-up look at the netminder, sophomore Blair Lawler, who had a big glove save there at point-blank range before this last time out.
She's held up very strong so far. Of course, the Icepack only with 1 shot on goal so far in this period. Trying to get a few more shots there, but she's done a great job under pressure so far. And it's held up back there.
NC State will control off the face-off. De La Stard loops one to the far corner. It'll be chased down by the George Washington defense and cleared out, where De La Stard will track it down. She'll turn it back, reversing the direction. Up for Emily Peterson with some pace. Lifts it in on goal, and she scores. I'm not sure that Lawler was ready for that one, and it snuck in on the far post.
Just a great shot from outside from Peterson right there. As you see it right here, she just caught that pass going down the ice and quickly in transition, as soon as she got to that right side, took a shot past her defender, really just threw that one at net and managed to get that one to go.
One thing that has been hurting the Colonials all season is goaltender play. They had 1 goaltender for the first 6 games, and then they transitioned to Lawler. This is only her 4th game played, and though the numbers haven't been there, she has been able to make saves when needed. 58 saves in their last game against Maryland, so she can make them when they need her to, but haven't seen that so far today.
And a little bit of jump here for NC State, a little extra jump in their step as Peterson will move it back forward. Peterson just tied it up, trying to take the lead, and it'll be gloved down and swallowed up by Lawler for another face-off. But one thing to note on that last goal as well was the pass from Erika de La Stard. That was a great cross-ice pass through some traffic to find Peterson with a lane to the net.
It was just an excellent feed. She found her teammate exactly where she needed her, and Peterson finished it off expertly.
A great play, too, to move through the neutral zone quickly and get that odd man rush in the offensive zone. That's what the Icepack need to keep doing.
Although in this faceoff, De La Stard throws one at the net, hits a body in front off of Elise Borelli. And now George Washington will mount an attack. Spencer Neville stops behind the NC State net. Pestered there by De La Stard. Out for Borelli along the wall. On the near wall, she steps through traffic. A lot of traffic in front. She gets the shot away, but Heil, positionally sound, makes the save.
A lot of stick taps on that one from the bench. Gives her a chance to show what she can do in the crease.
The Colonials got what they wanted there. They got that traffic out in front. They got the shot off. Heil was just in the right place at the right time.
So this face-off will be in the near circle, blocker side of Heil, who has stopped 10 of 12 so far. And the shots have been updated. 3 up there now for the Lady Pack as they control off the draw again. Erika Jacobson. And a textbook breakout there up the far wall. Now it's Hannah Murphy. Murphy sends it towards net, off the side of the goal. One-time chance goes through the crease and wide. And they'll fight for it along the near wall. Held in center point by NC State, but only momentarily as it's forked up and out by number 21, Nick Swart.
That's something that the Icepack have turned to, and they need to keep doing. That breakout offense. They haven't been able to set up in the offensive zone very frequently.
And a quick offsides there as Murphy got stalled out at the blue line. And that'll affect the timing, and the play will come back out into neutral ice.
Both of the Icepack goals so far been in transitions, quick stretch passes through the neutral zone, and that's what they need to keep doing if they're going to succeed against these Colonials with their offensive pressure.
Just under 7 minutes to go as we restart play. It'll be one forward initially by GW, but NC State stalls that out quickly and forces it to the near wall. Moreau drops it back for Diaz, who lifts it up and out. Spencer Neville first to it for the Colonials. Abbreviated 2-on-1 if she can get it to the front of the net. It's not there. So she'll circle behind. Now out to the slot. One-time chance. Another one loose in front. An open net as Heil slid out of position. But a nice job defensively by NC State to keep it off frame. Well, a huge defensive effort there to keep this one tied for NC State as it's swept back in by Diaz. But if you're the Pack, you'd like to tilt the tables a little bit here. It's a lot of effort to continue to defend against this George Washington attack.
Not to be overlooked, though, Erika Jacobson made an excellent save right there, using her stick to really make up for where Heil.
Moving forward, They'll get it deep and chase after it. Diaz swipes it around the wall. Pinching in on the near point is Robin Peterson to hold the zone. She's knocked to the ice, and play will continue. Well, we mentioned earlier, Graham, you mentioned earlier, body checking not allowed, but it is being tolerated, I would say, right now. We've seen plenty of contact, which is good to see. These girls are out there being physical. They want to win this game, and they're going to compete. It makes for a fun game.
Yeah, as we said earlier, both teams looking for their first win of the season, whether it be State in their first game ever or George Washington just looking to build on their program.
Beautiful defensive effort by De La Star. Pickpockets Neville, forces the puck out into the neutral zone, stalled out momentarily, and then collected back by Hannah Murphy again. She'll move in with pace. Drop pass, left for Tori Boyd, who has it knocked away and out into the center zone. And it'll be lost by Kelsey Holt. A chance for Neville in on a break, and a big save made by Heil, and another on the rebound. A great effort by Veronica Heil out at the top of her crease to stop those two shots.
She met the offensive attack head on and really just made an excellent stop right there. It was a great job there by Neville of getting to the net. She got the look that she wanted, but Heil just met her out at the point.
So another offensive zone face-off for George Washington. 4:38 to go here in the first period. We're tied up at 2. NC State controls off the draw. It's Erika Jacobson. She'll get into a gallop out of the zone. She's stalled out by Borelli at the red line. Gets it to the blue line, and it's slapped in, sticked away by Lawler. And it'll be collected by GW on the near wall. Trinity Diaz has space to move forward. Trying to weave her way around Jacobson. Nice job by the defenseman to force her to the corner and then knock it up the boards. Again, it's Jacobson, sent to the middle, behind her intended target in Boyd. And all the way out to the GW bench. More contact over there along the half wall, and the puck will get tipped up and into the Icepack bench for a quick stoppage with 3:51 to go.
We've got a lot of things going on with the George Washington Colonials so far this season, but this is their first game against an opponent that I would say is more on their level. First ACCHL game, obviously, but a lot of the teams they've played so far have been more advanced schools, and that's led to them to struggle in a little bit of those games. As I mentioned earlier, Lawler with 58 saves, 67 shots against them, and that's obviously not the kind of pressure we're seeing so far today.
Spencer Neville with a wrist shot from the top of the near circle, gloved and held again by Heil. And she's done a great job with rebound control today. Whenever she can steer the puck out of danger, she does.
It's led to very few follow-up opportunities for the Colonials, which I'm sure the Icepack are very grateful for, as their defense really needs to tighten up a little bit. A lot of opportunities for the Colonials early.
And another loose puck in on goal, swallowed up by Heil one more time, and we'll get another face-off. Well, one thing that is, I think, worth keeping an eye on, we talked about it a bit, is the size of those benches. Right now, George Washington certainly carrying the play, but you'd expect NC State to get a little bit of an advantage as this game goes on. And here's an advantage. It's Lauren Smith in on a break, tripped up and misses the shot, crashing into the end wall. We'll have a delayed penalty coming as Heil heads to the bench. It's touched up by George Washington. And a 2-minute power play, the first of the year, and the first in the history of this team for NC State.
I thought we might have seen a penalty shot there real quick. It looked like, again, a tripping call, as the referees just showed us on the breakaway. Very big opportunity for a shot there, but no such thing.
And I think, obviously, the official determined there that the NC State player and Lauren Smith hadn't quite gotten free and clear of the defense. And so it will just be a 2-minute minor. And NC State will get the man advantage. The guilty party was Shelby Weaver. Really didn't have much of a choice to prevent the goal. Icepack control off the draw. Thrown to the middle off the pad of Lawler. And it'll be cleared out. And a nice stick play, or a skate play made by De La Star to keep the zone and keep the pressure on. She'll hold it again on the far point. Throws it towards the net off a shin pad and deflects right back to the blue line, and it's tipped out of the zone. A couple of good chances there to throw it at net, and De La Star did a good job just keeping the pressure on and holding the zone.
And a great initial job on the penalty kill for the Colonials. Their defense just met the attack head on and forced it out of the zone.
1:15 left on the power play for NC State. Both teams now with one chance on the man up. George Washington came up empty the first time. Here comes Hannah Murphy. She's got some pace and forks it in on goal. And a huge hit coming after the puck was covered by Lawler. You see Emily Peterson picking herself back up. I've got to say, you didn't expect it to be quite this physical, but it has been a gritty, a bit of a nasty game at times.
Absolutely not. And that is a factor of what the Colonials have been able to do on defense. The Icepack haven't been able to set up in the offensive zone very often, and when they have, the Colonials have shut it down. As I said earlier, most of their offensive success coming on the breakaway and in transition.
NC State looks to set up the power play. Erika Jacobson, top of the near circle. D to D with De La Star. Floats one in towards the net, glove down by Borelli. She'll chase it down in the far corner. Swats it up the boards. De La Star to hold again. Across for Jacobson, coming in with pace. Her shot's blocked at the top of the circle, and Borelli will chase her out of the zone. Right now, there's just too much traffic in front for NC State to get shots away from the point. In the slot, though, the shot from Peterson steered wide by the stick of Lawler. And Peterson again in that near corner.
Looking for the hat trick there.
Just 15 seconds left on the man advantage, and another penalty coming. This one will go against NC State, as we saw a couple of ladies tangled up in that near corner, and I believe it's Peterson who will be sent to the sin bin here.
Her second trip there so far in this game, already serving 2 minutes earlier for tripping.
So we'll play 4-on-4 for just a little bit, only 12 seconds, but Icepack are going to be shorthanded for the rest of this first period.
And they're going to have to be careful here. The face-off right now, well, the ladies were ready for a face-off in the GWN, but the penalty does bring it all the way down to the end where NC State's Veronica Hiles manning the net. But if you're NC State, this helps a little bit because you're now down in your defensive end, but having to deal with just 12 seconds on the penalty to Weaver in your offensive end, then you got to watch for the spring pass. Icepack will clear it all the way down. Lauren Smith gets there first for NC State. Circles out in front. Backhand try denied at the defense nicely by Lauren Bolger, who's had a great first period defensively. You hear the stick of Heil tapping, and out comes Weaver. This is exactly what NC State wanted to avoid. Shelby Weaver in on a break. Coming in on Heil. She goes 5-hole and scores.
And it looked like there was actually an error with the penalty clock up there. Penalty was supposed to end a couple seconds early, and it gave her a little bit of an opportunity to jump straight out of the box, catch the errant puck, and take it all the way down for a goal.
And I believe that'll go down, or it will go down, as a power play goal for George Washington, their first of the game, and they've got a 1-goal lead with just 58 seconds left in period number 1.
One thing that we kind of expected coming in is that this game was going to be tightly contested, and it has been so far. Change of pace for the Colonials that they have been outmatched in most of their previous games against, but they look to be having fun out there as they're finally getting to play a competitive game of hockey.
NC State in control in the center zone. Nice little move by Jacobson. She'll weave down the far wing. Forced into the wall by Diaz, but holds on to possession. Backhand pass out to the point. Held in nicely by Liza Eskender. And the Pack another chance to throw it on goal off the chest protector of the netminder Lawler. That was again Peterson with the shot, and it'll be cleared all the way down. NC State's Erika Jacobson the first there. We've got an icing call, and with just 14 seconds to go, NC State will get one last chance on the offensive end.
And Eskander had a chance to keep that in the zone. You saw she fanned on it a little bit there, unable to keep it going, but they do still have a chance to get something in these final 14 seconds. Momentum has definitely shifted hands a lot in this first period, but we'll see who can come away out of this first period looking better.
Absolutely very back and forth so far, as you mentioned, and see if we can get anything towards the end of the periods. It's just something we've seen a lot here in the Annex throughout these first couple games of the tournament.
GW doing exactly what they wanted to, winning it to the far corner. It'll be pinned there by Diaz and Moreau, and that should wind out just about the rest of the clock. Peterson tried to force her way in front, but the lane wasn't there, and the period comes to a close. Plenty of scoring in the first. They were back and forth. It was George Washington with the last laugh in period number 1. They lead NC State 3-2 after 20 minutes.
And here we are in the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, and we've got a youth game going on, as we mentioned earlier, on the ice, and we've got the Lady IceHawks. It looks to be an inter-squad scrimmage, and in a minute we'll throw it down to our Brett Wiseman on the sidelines, but for now we can talk about the hockey game going on with a little bit of the hockey game that we saw earlier in the first period. What did you see from the Lady Icepack there as they played their first game of the season?
Lady Icepack just looked really good out there at times. Their defense held strong, but that was a very quick attack from the Colonials. They really couldn't hold up against it as they chipped away at Heil again and again, and really they just couldn't withstand an attack like that. The speed of the Colonials is something the Icepack are going to have to account to going into the second and third period.
Absolutely, and that's not to say that there wasn't much speed from the Icepack as well. Both of their goals coming in transition, and now we're going to throw it down to Brett Wiseman on the sideline.
Back here at the ACC HL tournament, first women's game here with George Washington's Libby Lugans. Libby, first women's game here in the history of this tournament. How big is that for women's college club hockey?
That's fantastic to hear, and I didn't know that until just now. Honestly, the spread of women's ice hockey is fantastic and something we're really passionate about as a team. So it's really great to come out here and support the cause.
Tied 2-2 after that first period of the Colonials and the Wolfpack. Thoughts on how that first period went for your squad?
It went really well. I think that we did really, really great. I think that we can keep skating a little bit harder maybe, and I think that it's going to be a very interesting game from here on out.
Had a lot of scoring chances in that first period as well. Important to keep up the pressure there on the forecheck in that second period.
Yes, I completely agree with that, and that's what I'm about to go and tell them in the locker room as well.
Thank you, Libby.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Great job down there, and we're back to action up here. We had a goal scored while threw it down there to you. But back to talking about the Lady Icepack. As we said, their speed in transition was crucial for their offensive success in the first period. And if they want to continue to succeed, obviously down by 1, 3-2, but they've got to be able to set up that attack in the offensive zone as well as in transition.
They really haven't been able to string together much offense. They've had a couple of shots on goal. They really picked it up in the second half of that first period, but they couldn't get sustained pressure. A lot of breakaway goals by Peterson there. That's really the only way they got those two. And we saw some solid opportunities from Erika Jacobson as well, but they just haven't been able to really string those together.
Yeah, and as I said, that's attributed to the success of the Colonials in shutting down those neutral zone attempts and being able to shut them off in the neutral zone and their own defensive zone, able to collect pucks, hold stuff in when they have the puck in the offensive zone. As we saw in the early part of the first period, George Washington had the puck in their offensive zone for close to 8 consecutive minutes, it felt like, and they just completely dominated on the offensive side of the puck for the first 10 minutes.
They really just kept it going, and that was the momentum for the first half of that first period. They managed to get sustained pressure, and they continued their attack over and over, and that's how they were able to get the first goal of the game.
Exactly, and as we look into the let's wrap it up, actually, We've got about 3 minutes left on the clock as this youth game looks to wrap up, and we'll send it, and we'll be right back.
Back here at the ACC HL tournament, Hannah Argenta of the Junior Lady IceHawks. Hannah, be able to play on a stage like this in front of so many fans with college hockey on the docket, how big is this for your program?
It is insane. Like, our program's grown so much in the past few years. This just is going to help so much, and yeah.
You can talk about the talent level of your group out there. You've definitely got some skilled players out there. How important is that to showcase at this kind of point?
It's really important because a lot of women's hockey is not very big right now. And to like show all the girls out there that we can play and that we do have this like the guys do, it's really important to like spread our sport and just spread the idea that girls can do this too.
Any message for any girls out there watching that maybe want to play hockey or already playing hockey?
Just try it, play, don't let any boy show you can't do it, don't let anyone show you can't do it. Because, yeah.
Hannah Argenta, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after this on PackTV's coverage of the ACHL tournament.
Welcome back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we are here in the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. I'm Graham Tuck alongside Chris Lehman, and we are here, and what do you think that we need to do in the second period, or what do the Colonials need to do, rather, in order to provide success?
The Colonials really just need to focus up on offense. They've done a great job of getting the opportunities that they're looking for, especially the play of Spencer Neville out in front. Her speed has just been an absolute boon to this team, and it's given them a lot of open space that they can really utilize. They need to find ways to get those passes going, and they need to really just calm down and try to slow down that offense and get the shot that they really want. On the other side, the Icepack really, they need to tighten up their defense a little bit. Far too many errant passes, giving the Colonials way too many follow-up opportunities.
Neville, obviously a key for those Colonials, and defense being shored up, a key for the Icepack as well. Goaltending has been pretty good so far, something that we were not necessarily expecting coming in. Obviously, the numbers don't jump off the page for you. For George Washington, only a .773 save percentage, but as we've seen, she can make saves when she needs to.
Layler's done a very good job whenever challenged by the Icepack. Whoever's really coming at her, she's done a great job of getting out of the crease, kind of getting in their face, and just holding back at times, making the correct decision a lot, only giving up 2 goals on those 9 shot attempts. Her defense has done a great job out in front of her as well.
Absolutely. The Colonial defense has done an excellent job. As we said many times in the first period, nothing really going for the Icepack in terms of offensive zone opportunities. Both of their goals have come through transition opportunities, and the defense has done a big part of that, both being able to hold in pucks at the blue line when they're on offense, neutral zone pressure, and shutting things down, keeping pucks from getting to the net in the defensive zone. As we move forward into the second and third periods, that's going to be key for the Colonials to continue, and something that the Icepack may want to emulate if they want to shut down the Colonial attack.
It's something that they definitely need to focus up on. They have plenty of opportunities, and they certainly have the talent level. This is a very evenly matched game, but they need to just figure out ways to get this going and try to match the Colonials' energy. It certainly feels like the Colonials have the momentum going into the second period.
Something that we saw in the first period that we might not have expected is that there wasn't a whole lot of evidence of players being tired, despite having these very, very small rosters. Many teams carry 18 skaters, and these teams, State has 12 skaters, and George Washington has 10. But yet, they didn't seem to be very fatigued at all.
I think a lot of that comes back to the adrenaline. You know, this is a very big moment for them. This is an exciting time, one of the first women's matches in the ACCHL. So getting out there and really being able to prove yourselves, I think that's a great boon to their energy, and I think it's going to really be prevalent throughout the rest of this game.
Excitement for sure between these two teams. Something that we haven't seen very often that we may have expected was offensive production from Trinity Diaz. She's definitely been a key point in the Colonials' offensive and defensive attacks, shutting down things through the neutral zone and opening things up with stretch passes, but no points for her so far today. We'll see if that changes in the second period, maybe the third.
She's definitely been a focal point for the offense of the Colonials, though. She's been passing the puck very well and giving opportunities for her teammate. In particular, Shelby Weaver's 2 goals have really come from the play of Diaz and Neville, following that up or really getting a great pass from those 2 players.
Absolutely. 19 shots on goal through the first period for the Colonials, something that really shows how much they were in that offensive zone in the first period, and we'll see if maybe the tables can tilt as we come out in the second.
A lot of hockey still yet to be played, but
Absolutely.
We'll see how the momentum can really change up here. But still 20 minutes coming up in the second. We'll see what changes the teams have made coming out of this.
And right as we wrap up, Colonials are coming out of the locker room, so we'll wrap up for just a couple seconds, and we'll be back.
Rounds Annex, Chris Lehman, alongside Logan Ward and Graham Tuck, here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at the start of the second period. Again, it's a very monumental day for the ACCHL and for both of these programs as they get the ACCHL Women's League really kind of kicked off here today. And we got to talk to a few of the participants in the festivities. It was great to see how all of this has come together.
Very much so. And, of course, we talk about how important this game is. And it's also fantastic to see that it's been a great game so far. We've had a lot of great back and forth between these 2 rosters. And I look forward to seeing that for the remaining 2 periods as well.
Absolutely. And something else to note, I know that Logan and Chris, you two and PackTV were not here yesterday, but the turnout that we have today for the women's game is bigger than we had for, I would say, any of the 4 quarterfinal games that we had yesterday. So it's great to see everybody coming out supporting both club hockey, college hockey, and women's hockey.
And the best part about this so far, too, is it's been competitive. Sometimes, especially when you've got two teams that are just starting out, still trying to get everything kind of organized. We mentioned working on the chemistry. George Washington has had a little bit more time with that than NC State, but sometimes in games like that where you have two teams that are more on the inexperienced side, it becomes a bit lopsided, but this one has been back and forth.
Like Graham mentioned, talked about how George Washington has played 10 games, still looking for that first win, but having that time is invaluable, getting that chemistry together and really having that experience of playing together, even if it is in losing efforts.
Something to remember here as we start the second period. I believe that we are starting out with the end switched, and so as we start, maybe a little bit different. I noticed that the creases haven't been completely carved up since the Zamboni came back out, so interesting to see how the goalies will adjust.
As you mentioned, Graham, I noticed, I believe it was Shelby Weaver down at the left end where George Washington will be defending this period. She was actually helping out her netminder Lawler by scraping it up a little bit for her.
Only Lawler's fourth game, so still getting used to things.
NC State will control as we restart play here in the second period. Another 20 minutes up on the clock as they fight along the benches. Puck squirts loose to the middle of the ice. It'll be collected by Jenna Moreau. Looking to get a backhander in on net. It'll trickle down on Heil, and she'll cover up for an early faceoff. The shots coming into this period, 19-9 in favor of George Washington. And if you're the Colonials, that's what you want to see when you're down 2 or 3 players compared to what NC State has on the bench. They're both a little short, but when you're the shorter bench, to be able to control play like that early is definitely crucial.
And we talked about during the break how much that offense has been going for the Colonials. They've been getting those shot opportunities and getting out on the break, but getting those opportunities is going to be essential as this game goes on.
And they're having fun down there. The George Washington bench dancing to Barbie Girl right now as we wait for play to begin again. And it'll be NC State in the far corner, forked around behind the net, where they'll scrum for it. De Lestard, who has been a standout defensively so far today, looking to orchestrate a breakout here. She's kind of trapped behind her own net, down under her goal line. Now it'll be swept up and out. George Washington at the defense first to get there. Lauren Bolger. And she sweeps it right back up the near wall again. And what we've seen is we haven't seen any team kind of take too many chances, I would say. It's everybody playing within themselves and waiting for the other team really to make that mistake and then jump on it. Back behind the net, it's knocked by George Washington. Coming away with it, Spencer Neville. Tried to force it out in front, but lost an edge. And NC State a chance to clear, but it's not all the way out. Nice keep by Shelby Weaver. Down to the goal line, tries to sneak one in on Heil, but she'll have none of it. And again, NC State looking to clear. Well, this is something that the men's team for NC State does really well, is hold the blue line strong. George Washington doing that right now.
The defense for NC State really just trying to clear the puck right now. Heil is standing strong in net, but sooner or later, the Colonials are going to continue to chip away.
And finally, NC State gets it out into neutral ice, but not very far. It'll be turned right back around by Lauren Bolger. She gets stuck in a collision. Puck squirts loose. And out to the center zone once again. Back in comes Borelli. Nice one-handed move around Murphy, but couldn't take the puck with her. And Hannah Murphy for NC State slaps it around the near wall. Pack in control. Another hit. Weaver stands up, an Icepack player at the blue line. That was Maddie Muller. And the physicality continues, guys. There's another one. Along the near side, De Lestard. D to D with Jacobson, who clears it up along the benches. Weaver sends it right back. And now space for Jacobson to pick up speed. And they're offsides.
I thought she may have gotten back across the blue line, but the linesman said no, so we'll come back out to the neutral zone.
And the physical play, we saw a couple more hits. If you're NC State, we saw a pretty big hit laid early in that first period, but when you look down on the ice, you can see George Washington a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and they've carried the physical play. If you're NC State, how do you counter that?
Well, you got to find ways to really work to your advantage, which is their speed. They've gotten a lot of breakaway opportunities in transition. They need to play to that and not get caught up on these George Washington defenders. The Colonials have done a good job of stunning them.
Puck loose in the GW end. It'll be chased down by Trinity Diaz. The captain elevates a pass to center ice. Collected nicely by Borelli. Elise Borelli has it poked away by Jacobson. Erika Jacobson moves it forward. Now a chance looking to tie the game. In comes Peterson. She'll be slammed into the near post. And it looks like it's just going to be a face-off. I don't see a hand up. That was an awfully physical play. And a very nice defensive effort from Lauren Bolger. She get another look at it here.
Looking for the hat trick there.
And good to see that both players involved in that collision got up pretty quickly. Could have been pretty dangerous. Could have been
very dangerous, but Layler did not get left out to dry by her defense, doing everything in their power to give her their best opportunity. Icepack were breaking away there, but the defense did a great job of getting back. Even if it was a physical check to stop that goal, they certainly did prevent that from being scored and then rewarded with a face-off in their own zone.
And it'll be one backwards by NC State's Emily Peterson. A quick shot, just missed. It looked like it caught the pad of an unsuspecting Lalor. And it'll be cleared out by GW, but the Colonials there, guys, dodge a bullet. And now De La Star moving forward. De La Star, the wrist shot in, handled by the blocker of Lalor. Knocked back up the wall again. De La Star will send it deep. Emily Peterson swings it out in front, swept towards the net, and again it gets caught up in traffic. Still NC State puck. De La Star, top of the near circle. Backhand pass will be taken off the boards by number 6, Lauren Smith of the Pack. Sent to the middle on a backhand, still loose in some skates, and the Pack can't steer it to the net. Colonials will clear out into neutral ice. But that might have been the best sustained offensive attack we've seen from NC State so far.
Absolutely, something they haven't been able to produce so far. One thing that's interesting to see from that last one is that Lalor tried to use both her blocker and her glove to make that save, which is something you don't see very often. So an unconventional approach, but she got the job done.
Puck still being fought for in that far circle in the NC State end. De La Star gets a piece of it, and she'll knock it all the way out. With some speed coming in now, Hannah Murphy sent to the middle, but behind the net. Couldn't quite get the angle she was looking for. And that will open up a chance on an odd man rush if they move quickly for GW. Button hook at the blue line from Spencer Neville to the middle of the ice. Now into the near corner, mishandled by Stefanova and thrown on goal. There is Spencer Neville, couldn't get the rebound to go as Heil stands strong, and the Pack clear it out once again.
I think we're starting to see a much more aggressive Icepack in this second period. They're not afraid to throw the puck at the net on the offensive side, and they've definitely been swarming to the puck on the defensive side as well. They're trying to flip the momentum to their side.
NC State looking to break into the offensive zone. They'll be stood up at the blue line. Neville moving back the other way. Dispossessed, stepping in to help is Jenna Moreau. They'll fight for it in the high slot, and they're spilling out. Maddie Muller stepped on the puck, and it squirts to the far corner. Peterson pitchforks it behind the net. To the near corner, Maria Stefanova. Looking to the middle, her pass shut down by Emily Peterson. Loose along the near wall, the George Washington defense will clear it deep. Now Borelli along the goal line, sent across by Neville, nobody able to get a stick to it. And play continues. Now it's Peterson. Moves out, angles to the middle of the ice, has it poked away, and they're offsides as that one stalled out and left a couple of players in early.
Icepack have given up way too many offsides here. They get those opportunities only to have it called back. That's not the first time it's happened in this period, let alone this game. They need to find a way to get their team collected and get them back on sides.
Well, and one thing, Graham, that we've seen here in this period, at least what I've seen, is NC State has tilted this ice a bit, made it a little bit more even, a little bit more back and forth than it was in that first period. What is allowing them to do that?
Well, one thing that the Colonials had going for them in the first period that they don't so much anymore is the blue liners holding in at the point. The blue liners for the Colonials haven't been able to keep that offensive pressures for as long as they were in the first, and that's letting NC State break out more often, which plays to their advantage with the speed. So that's producing more offensive opportunities for them. And on the flip side, their blue liners are doing a better job of keeping the puck in the offensive zone when they have it there, and they're able to get more offensive pressure on their end.
Face-off down to the glove side of Veronica Heil of NC State. As we get play restarted, it'll be swept around to the far wall. Couple of ladies scrum for it. GW comes away. Diaz on the far point, tried to slap it deep. That pass is blocked, and now NC State's got numbers. It's a 2-on-1, maybe a 3-on-1 if they hurry. Bad angle shot from the far wing, high and wide. Sizzler off the stick of number 17, Hannah Murphy. She scored the first goal of the game. And one of two for NC State so far. Pack can't hold the blue line. They'll be forced out into neutral ice. Retreating with the puck now is Carrie Gaudet de l'Estard. Looking to the middle, trying to connect with Murphy. That pass is knocked loose. And George Washington will bring it back forward. But an offside called. And we'll get a face-off after this stoppage.
Both teams very aggressive right now, just trying to get out in space, trying to jump on those opportunities. Sometimes a little bit too aggressive there, as we see with the offsides, just going over the blue line a little too preemptively.
Something that we've seen with the increased offensive pressure from NC State is that, well, and we've got a breakaway here potentially.
Lauren Smith using her speed to the outside. She'll trickle one in on Lawler. And another face-off coming up.
Well, and as I was saying, Lawler earlier on that shot from Gaudet de l'Estard, she stood tall on a shot from the point and converged both her blocker and her glove together to try to stop it, rather than dropping to her to the butterfly position and using a glove or standing tall and just getting a blocker to it. So that's something that the Icepack may be able to take advantage of if they can keep offensive pressure.
They've got a lot of traffic in front right now trying to get it to the net. There's a shot off the stick of Erika Jacobson. Looked like Lawler got a piece of it and deflected it wide. Now GW will move it out. Neville dispossessed by the NC State defense. Turned right back by Shelby Weaver. She's got some pace. Trailing is Neville, but a nice job by Jacobson to steer that play to the corner and take it away. Cleared out to the red line. Once again, George Washington will turn it back. Emily Peterson down the near wing. Watched by Bolger. Cuts to the high slot, missed just wide. Another good chance for NC State. Well, look at the shot totals really shifting now. NC State was trailing 19-9 as we get an icing call here, but they were trailing 19-9 at the end of the first period. They have outshot George Washington 5-1 to start this period.
And I think that really comes back to the change in aggressiveness. I mentioned that earlier in the period, but as they've gotten more aggressive and taken those opportunities and really broken out of their defense into those offensive possessions, they put more shots on goal. They've been a lot less afraid to really just let loose and shoot.
Hannah Murphy draws the face-off back for De La Estard. Throws one at the net, and another dribbler in on Lawler will be covered up. And it looks like they're going to take a quick media timeout as the two teams will talk things over. NC State has come out strong here in the second, out shooting George Washington 5-1 here in the second period so far, but it's still a 3-2 lead for the Colonials.
The day's top trending topics, local weather, world news, and since we all enjoy a little recreation time, City Newsbeat streams human interest stories.
For Chris Solomon didn't go through. He has it right out in front.
When you're ready to relax, yet want to stay informed on the facts, check us out from your Roku or Amazon Fire device. Try Newsbeat. News and weather for the untethered.
It's tournament time, y'all. Wings Day. What's better than wings with the game? Nothing. Wings Over Raleigh is the home of the wings professionals. Bone-in or boneless wings with 25 different sauces, 5 kinds of buffalo wing sauces, 6 different dry rubs. Not feeling the wings? No problem. Wings Over Raleigh has 6 different chicken sandwiches, fries, combos, a full or a half rack of ribs, all delivered right to wherever your crew is gathering. Wings Over Raleigh is the home of the wings professionals. Wings Day.
3-2 lead right now for George Washington over the NC State Icepack in the first ACC-HL women's matchup in the history of the league, and it has been a good one so far. NC State has come out here in the second period trailing by 1 and put a lot of pressure on, but Logan Graham, it's really kind of turned things around, and this NC State team is showing a lot.
This has really been the tale of 2 different periods. In the first period, it was all George Washington. They did a great job on offense. They really held the pressure, and although it was still a 3-2 score, the second period has been much different. The Icepack have certainly felt like they've had the momentum and had time of possession in their favor.
They will continue to hold the zone. Gaudet de l'Estard wrists one wide on the near side. Picked up behind the net by Shelby Weaver of GW. She'll pick up the pace, streaking through the neutral zone and down the far wing. Sent to the middle, stick to the near corner by Veronica Heil. You'll get a quick look up close as they scrum for it. To the top of the circle, deflects off a Colonial stick, held by Shelby Weaver at the blue line. And another scrum along the wall. This time it's Hannah Murphy in control for the Pack. Trying to create some time and space, steps around one defender. Now she's got to lane up the ice. Down the near wing, Neville with her stride for stride. And into the corner, it'll be knocked loose and a chance for GW to move back out again. Jenna Moreau splits the D. She'll get in. Point blank chance and a great job by the defenseman and Carrie Gaudet de l'Estard to tie up the stick of Moreau there and deny that chance.
Gaudet de l'Estard has been very key for the Icepack in this second period, both on defense, stopping chances for the Colonials and keeping them at only 3 goals, and on offense, she's been really crucial for their blue line success, holding pucks in and keeping their offensive pressure sustained, something they didn't have in the first.
10.5 minutes to go in period number 2. A shot blocked right off the faceoff gives a chance to NC State. Weaving through the middle of the ice is Tori Boyd. She'll enter the zone. It'll be knocked to the near side where Emily Peterson comes away with it. She's immediately shut down by the captain, Trinity Diaz, who bodies up a defender in neutral ice, but can't control. NC State goes rink wide with the pass. It'll be banked down in behind the Colonial net. Icing waved off, and now it'll be brought out by Borelli. Elise Borelli in and out of defenders. She'll cut to the far side. Being shadowed by Jacobson down the goal line, looks to the middle and loses her footing. Back out in front, and another chance for George Washington, deflects just wide. That one off the stick of Nick Swart.
Nearly had her first goal of the season.
Emily Peterson for NC State. She'll cut to the high slot. Wrist shot off the left shoulder of Lawler and into the far corner. Another good chance for the Icepack. Emily Peterson again in the near corner. Looking for a teammate. No passes available. She'll hold it herself. A 4-lady scrum ensues. It'll be knocked loose. Pinching in for NC State. I thought she was going to be able to save it. That was Liza Eskander. But instead, she'll backhand it out for Emily Jacobson, or Erika Jacobson, pardon me. Jacobson down the far wing. She'll circle behind the net, looking for a teammate out in front, and she throws it off the side of the goal. The captain, Diaz, for George Washington now. NC State has numbers back, so Diaz will just gain the red line and throw it deep. 8:40 to go in this period. A point-blank chance, and Heil up to the task once again. Well, this is a bit of an I'd say that the difficulty of this period, a bit underrated for Veronica Heil. She saw a lot more shots in the first period, so a change of pace, but she still held strong.
She's doing a great job here in the second period, really picking up where she left off in the first. She's done a great job when she's been tested, giving up those 3 goals, but her defense has also improved around her. Although she's still taking a fair bit of shots right now, she's doing a great job of just falling on top of them.
She stopped 19 of 22 so far. On the other end, Lawler has stopped 12 of 14, and we might get a 15th shot coming here. Forcing her way through the defense, Lauren Smith is taken down, and covering up is Blair Lawler. I don't see an arm up, but that certainly looked like it could have sent somebody to the penalty box.
Even the youth hockey players in the penalty box, the attendants stood up ready to open the doors, and nobody coming their way.
Referees have been very content to just let this one go so far. A lot of hard hits in this one, but referees have just let play continue.
So another face-off in the offensive end for NC State. That's been a trend this period. Hannah Murphy wins it back to the point. Can't be held, though, as Spencer Neville steps up and steals it away. She'll go stride for stride with Gaudet de l'Estard, who forces her off the puck and down behind the net. Another great defensive effort from Carrie Gaudet de l'Estard. And that will allow NC State to clear it out of their own end momentarily. Shelby Weaver elevates it back in. De l'Estard again. Up the near wall for Lauren Smith. Cross ice now Hannah Murphy. Looking to the middle. And her shot denied from the middle point. Collects it back, does Murphy. Sweeps it towards the net, but right there to take it away, Shelby Weaver. She immediately sees the lane to move out and takes it down the far wing. Murphy with her. Low wrister, blocker down by Heil, and she'll hold on for another faceoff. 7:26 left in the second.
An interesting thing you were talking about earlier, Chris, talking about the goals that Heil let in the first period. She's now stopped 20 of the 23 shots she's faced, but none of the 3 goals that she let in were bad goals per se. You know, whether it be a screen or a breakaway or a quick one-timer, nothing that she could, really have a chance of stopping.
That's certainly important when you're starting out a hockey organization, as the NC State women are, having a solid goaltender in Heil on the roster as a sophomore, so she'll be around for a couple more years. Here's a chance for NC State, and they throw it off a teammate. Peterson cutting in front, got in the way of the shot by Jacobson, or else that one might have ended up in the back of the net. And that'll result in a chance for Borelli. Moving in on Jacobson, back and forth, the wrist shot right into the glove of Heil, and she will hold on. That was well played both by the netminder and the defender there. Jacobson leaves nothing but a long shot, and Heil handles those easily.
Credit to Borelli here, though. An absolutely fantastic job moving around and getting the shot. Heil just did a great job reaching her arm out and snatching that out of the air.
And just got the defender turned around there, did Borelli.
Puck steered towards the net, but cleared right back out by NC State off the faceoff. Tracked down by Elise Borelli, who will circle behind her own net. Pickpocketed by Emily Peterson. She'll hold behind the cage. Leaves it for a teammate there in Robin Peterson. And it's sent out in front, dog pile, as the puck skitters through traffic. And George Washington gets to the loose change first and clears it out. And right now, while NC State has certainly carried the play for the most part here in the second, have had the better chances, it's just been close but not quite for the Pack.
And it's honestly shocking that there haven't been any goals scored so far in this second period, as both teams have had very quality chances in the offensive zone but unable to capitalize. Point to the goaltenders.
And Graham, you mentioned earlier in this broadcast that Blair Lawler had a 58 save performance the last time out. I think we're getting a little better look at what she's going to be like between the pipes for GW, and there's a strike for the Colonials. A one-time finish on the near post for Maria Stefanova. And that's going to be the first goal of her career. High fives all around for GW.
And that breaks a 7-game goal drought. She had played in the last 7 games for the Colonials. No goals scored yet, so obviously excited. But as I said earlier, no bad goals allowed by Heil and net, and that trend continues. Just a one-timer through the crease. Great pass through traffic. Nothing she could do to stop it.
And the Colonials just did a great job moving the puck around. They found Stefanova in a great position to score, and that's exactly what she did. She took advantage of what she was given and turned it into points for the Colonials.
Now NC State would love to find a way to respond before the end of the period. Just 5 minutes and 35 seconds left in the second. And it's now 4-2, George Washington. Backhand pass to the middle, nobody there for NC State. And Spencer Neville will get it out of dodge. Fight in neutral ice. Neville again tracking it down. Battling now with Hannah Murphy along the benches. And it'll be shoveled deep by GW. And you got to give some credit there as well to Maria Stefanova, as Stretch pass heads all the way down for an icing call. You can see out there a bit, some of these girls really kind of just picking up the sport and just learning it. But great awareness there from Stefanova, who is one of those players. She went straight to the back post, and sometimes it's all about just being in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. As you said, Stefanova, one of those players for the Colonials. This is not only her first season with the Colonials, but it's her first time playing hockey ever. So not only was that her first goal of the season, it's her first goal ever playing hockey, so congratulations to her.
And you got to love the excitement you immediately saw as she leapt up off the ice after scoring the goal. And now NC State trying to get back onto the attack. They had established it well throughout the first 12 or 15 minutes of the period, but we're starting to see the tables turn back the other way. Shelby Weaver banks it past an Icepack defender. Down the far wing, a wrist shot right in on Veronica Heil. She'll hold on to it with the glove for a face-up.
And Heil, again, just doing a good job snatching it out of the air. She's been tested a lot in this second period, increasingly so over the last couple of minutes. But the defense has kind of hung her out to dry on several occasions, like we've mentioned all game long. A lot of those goals against her have kind of been unsalvageable from her, just not in the right position, or a myriad of other options that are kind of holding her back right now.
And that's something that will come with time as this Icepack team meshes together and they play more games.
George Washington in control off the draw. Nice little move behind the net by Elise Borelli. She'll send it to the point. Diaz sweeps one towards the net, denied in traffic, and NC State moves it back out. That'll be 2-on-2 moving into the zone. Stopping at the near circle is Emily Peterson. She'll be bodied up and loses the puck. Loose in the high slot. A couple of bodies head to the ice as they fight for possession. It'll be NC State in control. Lauren Smith cycling back behind the net. We've got a hand up as a tripping call. It looks like will be blown dead now. And it'll be a cross-check over on the far side. So that body go down. I thought it was a trip, but either way, it's 2 minutes in the sin bin. Second penalty of the afternoon for Shelby Weaver.
And penalties are key to avoid for these Colonials, as now they only have 9 skaters, which keeps them to less than 2 full lines. So these penalty kill units, it's going to be key for them to get the job done, and more importantly, not let State get a 5-on-3 opportunity where they are even more depleted.
And NC State still looking for their first power play goal. 3:45 to go in the period. Wrist shot from the near point off the stick of Diaz. Start is blocked down in front. Still loose in the slot area. It'll be slapped to the near wall. Lauren Smith. Smith back behind the net. Up to the point. Erika Jacobson. She'll button hook along the hashes. Turns it back. Smith again. Behind the net for Hannah Murphy. Sneaky little pass out in front. Peterson wasn't ready for it off her skate. Thrown back in by Diaz. Start, it's knocked home, but it'll not count. The whistle was blown before Peterson knocked it in, and it'll stay 4-2.
It looks like being sent off now is going to be the captain, Trinity Diaz. Saw maybe some signs that might be a 5-minute major. She hit from behind right there. Emily Peterson didn't like how close she got to her goalkeeper at the end of that one. Looked like there might have been a little bit of a collision. Diaz just defending the goalkeeper.
And they'll put one in the box on both sides, so it looks like we'll get matching minors. A slash on Emily Peterson for NC State, and for Trinity Diaz, it'll be a roughing call. So that should keep it at 5-on-4 because they are matching. They won't drop players off the ice. Peterson and Diaz will be in the box until the first whistle after the 1:15 mark left in the period.
They may not say that these were incidental. It looks like they are, as the Icepack have 5 on. It looked like they may have been looking to go 4-on-3.
State wins the draw to the far wall. Lifted in front. Quick one-time shot from Lauren Smith, swallowed up by Blair Lawler, the netminder. And she had looked a little bit shaky in that first period. Lawler looking a little more steady between her pipes now.
Well, even so, even if you were just watching the goaltenders in this matchup, you would not expect for Veronica Heil to have been the one to give up 4 goals so far.
So 1:20 left on the man advantage for NC State. Don't forget, there's a minute 45 left on the sentences to Peterson and Diaz as well. They'll come out the first whistle after that expires. As Lauren Smith will move in, point blank range, another glove save made by Lawler. And we'll get another offensive zone face-off for the Pack.
And you mentioned Chris, Lallard looks like she's really getting her legs underneath her. She's starting to really settle down in net and make some great saves. Anything that's being thrown at her right now, she's just a brick wall.
Hannah Murphy wins the faceoff again for NC State. Pack had not won a lot of faceoffs early on in the game. That has changed here throughout the second period. Near point, wrist shot off the stick of De La Star, deflects off the blade of Borelli's stick and pops up over the net. And that'll give George Washington a chance to track it down and clear it out. 40 seconds left on the NC State power play. Puck behind the net, collected by Erika Jacobson. Her clearing pass, tipped away and stolen by Spencer Neville. Quick little wrister from the high slot. Glove down by Heil. She'll let play continue as she tosses it to the near corner for a teammate. Up the wall, Lauren Smith is going to be unable to get to that stretch pass. Icing called. And that's exactly what you don't want if you're NC State. You're on a power play. You have a chance to establish yourself in the zone, and now you've got to come back to your own end.
And going back to their own end, their defense needs to step up right here. George Washington is starting to run away with this one. Now with a 2-point lead with only 2 minutes remaining in the second period. Icepack need to find a way to get this momentum back on their side heading into the third if they want to find a way to win this inaugural ACCHL women's hockey game.
2 minutes to play in period number 2. Lauren Smith working behind the net once again. And once again, George Washington seals off the centering pass. And they will clear it out. Fought for in center ice. NC State comes away with it. A chance to break through, but a nice job defensively by Lauren Bolger to hold strong at her own blue line. Now it's Shelby Weaver kicking it up the wall. Swatted right back to Bolger by the NC State defense. She'll find a teammate in Jenna Moreau. Handed off for Neville at the near point. Wrist shot right into the gut of Hannah Murphy. It'll be collected by Erika Jacobson. And NC State can move forward. Hannah Murphy once again. Has Neville hot on her tail. A floating slapper that Lawler didn't have a good gauge on. Just about fell into the net. Not a bad attempt there.
Looking to go Bardowski's there from the point. Just a little too high. It may have dinged the crossbar just a little bit. Nevertheless, Lawler was not ready for that.
Under a minute to go in the second period. Just one goal in this 20-minute frame so far. It went to George Washington. Jenna Moreau will pitchfork it deep. NC State first to it at the defense. Cleared up the far wall. Held in by Bolger, and her wrist shot is deflected wide. Along the near wall, banked up and out by NC State's defense. They can't control it in the middle of the ice, and it'll be swatted to the near wall. Held onto by Liza Eskander. Looking to the middle. It'll be one touched back to the near wall. Moreau back to her defenseman Weaver. And swatted up the wall. Just 10 seconds left in period number 2. One final push here for NC State if they hurry. But it looks like they're going to wind out the rest of this second period clock. Well, the Icepack turned the tables a bit, guys. They got the better chances that period. In fact, they outshot the George Washington Colonials by a count of 9-6. However, it was George Washington getting on the board.
George Washington did a great job picking up where they left off. They got their offense going again, scoring the only goal of that period. The Icepack just weren't really able to match the intensity that they had. We saw a lot of physical play out of these two teams and a lot more aggressiveness out of the Icepack, but they weren't able to translate that into points.
Well, that will do it for the second period. We'll step aside here for just a moment at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. 4-2 George Washington after 2 periods.
Welcome back to the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. I'm Logan Ward, joined here by Graham Tuck and Chris Lehman, who will be joining us later in the third period. A lot of good hockey through 2 here so far, Graham. What do you think so far about the Icepack? What do they need to change going into the third?
The Icepack, they must have heard me up here during the first intermission, because what they did in the second period was exactly what I said that they needed to. They shut down the neutral zone passing lanes for Georgetown, and they were able to maintain offensive pressure. The way they did that was better play on the defensive side of things, and they were able to get help from their defenders in the offensive zone by keeping pucks in at the blue line and able to have continued time of possession in the offensive zone.
And looking at the George Washington Colonials, a strong showing from them so far, leading 4-2 on the scoreboard. What do you think they really need to have a look at going into this third period?
Well, one thing that the Colonials have done is they haven't taken their foot off the gas pedal. That's something that they need to keep doing, because if they let up, NC State certainly has the potential to come back and bite them with it. No pun intended for the Icepack, but the thing that they struggled with for the first half of the second period was they didn't have the transition game that they did before. And Shelby Weaver stepped up about midway through that second period, and she began to take on a lot of Icepack defenders by herself, getting the puck out of the defensive zone as a defenseman, or defensewoman, I should say, getting through the neutral zone and crossing the blue line into the offensive zone all by herself, creating opportunities for the Colonials on offense without any help at all. And then once she gets it into the offensive zone, the blue liners did their job and kept the puck in.
The offense has been very back and forth through that second period and the first as well, but certainly a much more even period in that one. The momentum has been shifting back and forth throughout this game so far. What does one team really need to do to seize momentum and go into this third and finish strong?
Well, similarly to the first intermission, momentum is very, very much up for grabs going into the third period. It went back and forth in the second period after George Washington had it for most of the first, but the Icepack got a couple goals under their belt, and they're looking to come out. They need to do what they did at the start of the second period. They need to be aggressive, they need to forecheck, and they need to not just lay down and die. On the Colonial side of the puck, they need to keep relying on their defense in the defensive zone, because they need to keep as many pucks away from Blair Lawler as they possibly can, because the less shots that she faces, the less opportunities that the Icepack have to capitalize on them, obviously.
And talking about capitalization, penalties, penalty kill, and power play, all very key features in this game. How has that really shifted momentum with how penalties have really come into play so far?
It's really been kind of up for grabs as well, because there's only been the one power play goal so far, the one that George Washington had in I believe it was towards the end of the first period, and we had far more penalties in the second period, I believe, or at least more flashy ones, I would say, with the roughing call and such, but nobody able to capitalize on those either. So the power play units for the Icepack and for the Colonials should step up and seize those opportunities when they have them if they want to put this game out of reach.
One more period left to play. The third period coming up between the NC State Icepack and the George Washington Colonials. 20 minutes of hockey left. Don't go anywhere. We've got more coming up after this.
It's tournament time, y'all. Wings Day. What's better than wings with the game? Nothing. Wings Over Raleigh is the home of the wings professionals. Bone-in or boneless wings with 25 different sauces. 5 kinds of buffalo wing sauces, 6 different dry rubs. Not feeling the wings? No problem. Wings Over Raleigh has 6 different chicken sandwiches, fries, combos, a full or a half rack of ribs, all delivered right to wherever your crew is gathering. Wings Over Raleigh is the home of the wings professionals. Wings Day.
The day's top trending topics, local weather, world news, and since we all enjoy a little recreation time, City Newsbeat streams human interest stories.
For Chris Solomon didn't go through. He has it right out in front.
When you're ready to relax, yet want to stay informed on the facts, check us out from your Roku or Amazon Fire device. Try Newsbeat. News and weather for the untethered.
So let me disarm you, baby. This is what you came for.
build it, you demolish it. The legendary Homewrecker Burrito. Come build yours today with 20+ fresh ingredients.
First online order, 10% off. Promo code ONLINE.
The officials have returned to the ice here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Two teams should be heading back out onto the ice here in a moment. Chris Lehman alongside Logan Ward and Graham Tuck here on PackTV, bringing you the first ACCHL women's game. Guys, we've got 2 periods down, 1 more to go. It was a much better period for NC State when you just looked at the way play went, but when you look on the scoreboard, it wasn't what they were hoping for.
Giving up 1 goal, even though they took more shots, they came away with nothing from that period, really. They're going to look to try to get momentum back on their side in this third. As Graham was talking, momentum is kind of up for grabs right now. Either team could really take advantage of this opportunity, but with a 2-point lead, the Colonials look to be in a great position.
Absolutely, and it's something, as I mentioned earlier, if you simply watch the goaltenders, you would not think that the score would be 4-2 in favor of the Colonials. Veronica Heil has been very calm and collected, composed in the crease, and in a way that you don't see from very many goaltenders at all, not just Division II women's club hockey. And so it's something that, you know, the Wolfpack, as you mentioned, Chris, she's still only a sophomore, so as they build this program and as the ACCHL women's division grows as well, they'll have that to rely on and build on that success for years to come.
And when you look at the other end of the ice and you take a look at Blair Lawler, she has had a pretty solid effort as well. She's given up just 2 goals on 18 shots. And she, while starting out, as we mentioned, a little bit shaky, didn't seem to quite have her feet under her confidence. She looked much better and she looked much stronger in that second period.
Her movements just looked a lot more confident in that second period. She moved with a lot more purpose, and she found a way in front of a lot of tough shots. She made a lot of great glove saves, and I think that was just a really great period for Blair Lawler out there.
And Graham, I'll turn to you with this question. We've talked plenty about what's coming up in this period and what these two teams have done so far. What does it take for NC State, who seems to be tipping the scales a tad in their favor, what does it take for them to get over the edge, put a couple in, and even this up?
Well, it's something that they've got to keep building on what they started in the second period. They started to have a little bit more offensive pressure in the second period, and then midway through they kind of just let George Washington take over. They stopped getting the puck into the zone so much, and George Washington took control back over the neutral zone, and that really cost NC State as it allowed George Washington to put that goal up on the board.
Well, we're ready to go in the third period. NC State in the red will move left to right across your screen. In the white, George Washington moving right to left for this final 20 minutes. GW in control. Stretch pass stretches all the way down the ice, and it's going to be waved off as Neville got there just in time to cancel it out. She was right there with Carrie Gaudet de la Stard of NC State. Speaking of de la Stard, she's in control now. Lifts it up into neutral ice. At the center line, it'll be taken by Emily Peterson. A couple of defenders there. And she'll angle to the far wing. Back to the slot. Looking back, and a nice thought to find Maddie Muller. But Muller not ready for it, and now GW gets a chance. Neville coming in all alone. Racing back, though, is Erika Jacobson to cut off the angle. A nice hustle defensively to get there on the back check.
And the Colonials have been doing a good job of racing back against those inexperienced defensive players for the Icepack. They've been beating them to the punch and getting a lot of breakaway opportunities off of that.
Scrum along the wall. Puck will squirt loose to Emily Peterson of NC State. She'll skate it up the middle. Angles towards that far side, stops at the top of the circle to the high slot. She scores! Beautiful finish from Emily Peterson, her third of the game. And it is now 4-3. NC State right back into it just a minute into the third.
Absolutely phenomenal performance today from Emily Peterson. The hat trick, obviously, but she's really put the team on her back and produced when they've needed it the most. She got that first goal in the first period, and she really helped swing the momentum towards NC State's side in the second period. And now she's put the goal up on the board in the third, and she's gotten State right back in it once again.
And I think it's also worth taking a look at there. The way she scored, textbook. She comes from far side to near and then shoots it back across her body. And it makes it that much harder that Lawler had to reach out and try and get it with the blocker, but a textbook finish. I heard over the PA. I thought the first goal, I believe they awarded to Hannah Murphy. So that'll be the second of the game for Peterson. The third for the Icepack, and they're back within one. Still over 18 minutes to play. Centering pass, loose out in front, poked to the net. As bodies collide, it'll deflect wide. And it's wrapped around the boards. Nice pinch there from NC State's Liza Eskander to hold the zone, but only momentarily as the puck squeaks past Hannah Murphy and all the way down the ice. Well, that is the exact start, if you're NC State, that you wanted to this third period.
Of course, getting Peterson going quickly in this one, trying to get their offense going quickly as we have another breakaway opportunity. That one's going to be called offsides. But the Icepack have to be happy getting that first goal quickly here. It closes the gap a little bit. Now down only one. They're certainly in a prime position to come back.
So the neutral zone face-off will take place just on top of the NC State blue line. As we continue to play 5-on-5 hockey. We've seen plenty of penalties, both teams with their opportunities on special teams. But as it has been in just about every other aspect, fairly even. Maybe another chance for Peterson as she cuts in, loses the stick. Nice defensive effort by Shelby Weaver. And now George Washington back in transition. Down the near wing, Neville shoots it right into the crest of the uniform of Veronica Heil, and she'll control the rebound with no problem for another face-off.
And that was just a great save by Heil there. Really kind of got hung out to dry as Kelsey Holt just kind of got beat off the punch right there. She was a little slow to react, couldn't get back in front. Heil just made a great save one-on-one against Spencer Neville.
GW in control after the draw. Wrist shot from the near point, hits a stick and deflects wide. That was a shot from Trinity Diaz. They'll battle along the far post. NC State gains control, and Peterson, the star so far for the Icepack, moving in again, looking for a third, but she'll be dispossessed by the GW defense. Moving it back up, Lauren Bolger. Low wrist shot, deflected to the near corner. Chased down by Neville. Looking over her options, cuts to the middle, poked away by De La Stard. And GW will regroup. They're still in control in the NC State end. Neville leaves it on the near point for Diaz. Throws it at net, and I believe she was looking for that deflection from Neville. It's tipped wide, and NC State takes over. Carrie Gaudet de la Stard wraps it around the boards, deflected up and out, and a stumbling defenseman makes the stop. Lauren Bolger does a nice job avoiding the odd man rush, and now an offside called on George Washington. But that was a dodged bullet, to say the least, for George Washington. It was going to be 2-on-0 in on Blair Lawler.
Bolger just did a great job. Kind of a desperation move there, but it paid off. Really stopped the momentum, managed to keep the Icepack from a scoring opportunity that would tie this game up.
About 16 and a half to go here in the third. NC State advancing once again. It'll be stopped up by Trinity Diaz. She'll clear it out off the wall. It's picked up by Borelli. She's in all alone, looking for another. In on Heil, who makes the save. A great job by Veronica Heil again, out to the top of her crease to take away the angle, and it's still 4-3. Another chance brewing for NC State. Hannah Murphy, who opened up the scoring, gets a little bit too cute there and loses it on the backhand pass. Now it's Shelby Weaver, 2-on-1 with Borelli. Down the far wing, approaching. Weaver, shot off the left pad of Heil and into the far corner. NC State will control. Murphy pitchforks it around to the near corner. Slap back by number 21, Nick Swart. And they'll scrum behind the net. But this was a golden chance there. A couple of great chances for George Washington. Long pass up ice. Not going to have enough for icing as it slides past the intended target, Maddie Muller. But a couple of great chances there where Veronica Heil stands tall, guys.
She's played an excellent third period so far in this one, taking a couple of early shots, but she stood strong, and that's something that we've seen all game from her. She's remained calm, cool, and collected despite giving up those 4 goals over the first 2 periods.
It'll sweep pass from the near point from Kelsey. Holt doesn't make it towards the net. Now a bouncing shot from De La Stard is handled by Lawler. It looked like she didn't quite control it, but the official loses sight of the puck. And it'll be an offensive zone face-off for NC State, but we continue to see the momentum building for the Pack, and I think that goal early has really helped.
And I think a large part of it comes back to their depth off the bench. They've got a lot of fresh legs that can come in and play, and so they've been able to keep their players fresh. It looks like the Colonials are starting to drag a little bit out there, despite the fact they've had a couple breakaway opportunities. The Icepack are looking to get ahead right now.
Another strong wrist shot from De La Stard, knocked down in front, slapped towards the net, doesn't quite make it to Lawler, and it'll be cleared out by George Washington. On the forecheck, Neville. Quick pass up, deflected nicely to Emily Peterson. She gets to the high slot. Looking to the net, the shot is blocked. Loose in the high slot still. Slapper off the stick of De La Stard is deflected wide. And now Peterson will get to it in the near corner. She'll collide with Neville as they both fall to the ice. Puck still loose. And George Washington clears it out. Carrie Gaudet De La Stard. First to it for NC State at the defense. Cross ice, looking for intended target Tori Boyd, but it'll be stolen away. Another chance for the Colonials is blockered away to the near side by Veronica Heil. Now Diaz lifts a pass to the middle, and it'll skitter all the way over to the far boards along the benches. De La Stard drops it back for Jacobson. Pass across in the skates of a teammate. They'll fight for it on the near wall now. And it's Elise Borelli coming away. She'll be pinned to the boards by Murphy nicely, and Hannah Murphy comes away with it. Slapped around to the far point. Pinning and holding there was Bolger. But NC State eventually able to clear it up and out and alleviate some of that pressure.
I think it's fair to say that momentum clearly on the side of the Icepack right now, and it could very easily be a tie game or even a lead for the Icepack if not for the defensive play of a couple Colonials, especially with the sticks in the defensive zone breaking up passing lanes and blocking shots.
And a quick offsides call on George Washington. Trinity Diaz brought it in offside just before Maria Stefanova was able to get back to neutral ice. So we'll have a face-off on top of the NC State line once again. Looks like it'll be Borelli up against Emily Peterson for NC State. And it'll be dropped and we're back underway. Peterson on the second effort finds a teammate in Erika Jacobson. She'll move forward with some speed. Down the far wing into the corner and around behind the net. Plenty of space, she'll hold on. Still Jacobson. Up to the point now, slips a pass into the slot, nobody there for the Pack, and it's stolen away by Diaz. She'll sidestep one defender. Moving down the near wing now. Cycling behind the net, sweeps it out in front, and a nice defensive play made by NC State's Lauren Smith. Slap shot from the point, deflects just wide. George Washington starting to establish a forecheck and set up the offense. Far corner. We slap to the middle of the ice. But it's still George Washington in control.
Icepack haven't been able to clear at this possession. They've had a couple of opportunities to try to poke check away.
And the centering pass through a couple of skates and all the way down. One thing that's becoming very apparent as this period wears on, we'll get to this in a second. Nice steal from Smith. Using her body to shield the puck, she cuts to the middle. In the slot, a chance to tie, throws it on goal. Loose in front, they'll poke at it, and Lawler jumps on the rebound and melts it down for a face-off. Well, we saw some energy there, but it's starting to become apparent that these two teams are wearing out a bit. 60 minutes is a long hockey game to play with a short bench, and you can start to see the fatigue setting in.
Absolutely, and with only two lines essentially for both of these teams, the front line is going to end up having about 40 minutes of the time on ice by the time this is all said and done. And obviously the speed of the game slowing down a little bit, and that's leading to the Colonials' increased offensive pressure. That's why the Icepack have gotten tired, and the Colonials are able to hold it in at the point and open up those passing lanes.
Just under 12 minutes to go in the contest. Wrist shot from the point. Again, didn't quite get through for De La Star, but keep an eye on those. She's getting closer and closer with that seeing eye puck through traffic. De La Star banks it all the way out, just out of the outstretched stick, or out of the reach of the outstretched stick, I should say, of Hannah Murphy, and it's dumped right back by Diaz of George Washington. Slapped into neutral ice. Tripped up on the play was Murphy. Play will continue, though. And the puck loose in the GW end. Clearance pass, knocked down and taken by Hannah Murphy of NC State. Back behind the net, slips it out in front, and it's under the stick of a teammate. That was number 4, Maddie Muller, who just couldn't quite corral it. She would have had a pretty wide open net to take a gander at. They'll battle again in the center zone. At her own blue line, Lauren Bolger of GW. She'll collect speed down the far wing, into the circle. Shot on goal, it's off the right pad of Heil, and she'll kick it to the near side. That was a textbook shot there from Bolger to try and create a good rebound. But again, Heil with great rebound control.
And she's done a great job of that ever since the second period, giving up that one goal in the second to Stefanova. Ever since then, she's really been calm, cool, and collected. We're almost halfway through this third period, and she stood very strong in this final period.
And we're going to get an icing call here. George Washington will be forced to come all the way back down, and I think there's a little bit of confusion down there at the scorer's table in front of us. We're right around the time where we would take that media timeout, but because of the icing and because George Washington can't change, I believe they're going to at least wait until the next whistle to do so.
Well, and one thing that you touched on earlier, Logan, combined with something that we talked on earlier in the period, the Icepack defense just hanging Heil out to dry, and that combined with the fatigue that they're showing on defense. On that last possession, you saw Colonial just skate right by a defender. Just outraced him easily, and it's really been a tribute to Heil's success to show that she's been able to stop all those chances.
Centering pass from the near corner off the stick of Emily Peterson. Can't find a home. And it'll be cleared out by George Washington. NC State going to have to check up here on the delayed offside. And they lose track of Spencer Neville. She's going to come in on a break. A nice back check from Erika Jacobson to shut down that chance. And it'll be melted down by Veronica Heil for another face-off.
The Icepack have started to get those opportunities on offense that they've been wanting. A lot of shots and some great passes across the slot, right in front of the crease. They just haven't been able to get bodies in front in order to get that score.
We're going to take a quick media timeout here, just about halfway through period number 3. NC State has cut the GW lead in half. It's 4-3 with 11:05 to go.
The day's top trending topics, local weather, world news, and since we all enjoy a little recreation time, City Newsbeat streams human interest stories.
For Chris Solomon didn't go through. He has it right out in front.
When you're ready to relax, yet want to stay informed on the facts, check us out from your Roku or Amazon Fire device. Try Newsbeat. News and weather for the untethered.
It's tournament time, y'all. Wings Day. What's better than wings with the game? Nothing. Wings Over Raleigh is the home of the wings professionals. Bone-in or boneless wings with 25 different sauces. 5 kinds of buffalo wing sauces, 6 different dry rubs. Not feeling the wings? No problem. Wings Over Raleigh has 6 different chicken sandwiches, fries, combos, a full or a half rack of ribs, all delivered right to wherever your crew is gathering. Wings Over Raleigh is the home of the wings professionals. Wings Day.
We're back at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Chris Lehman along with Graham Tuck and Logan Ward here on PackTV, bringing you the first ever ACCHL women's matchup between NC State and George Washington. And guys, couldn't ask for much more out of this one. 10 minutes left in the game, and it's 4-3.
This game has had it all, really. It's had a lot of back and forth energy, momentum, changing hands, back and forth, and a lot of scoring too. 4-3, definitely no slouch in terms of scoring, but we've also seen some excellent goalie play out of both Lawler and Heil.
And it'll be a foot race to the puck. Shelby Weaver off the draw, gets to it in front of her own bench. George Washington will control. Now Elise Borelli up the boards for Stefanova, quickly dispossessed by Gaudet de Lestard. And she'll throw it off. A linesman trying to get it deep. It's swept right back out by Shelby Weaver. And now Borelli will chase it down in the far corner for George Washington. Circling around to the near corner, centered in front, through the legs of Heil, and Stefanova couldn't get a stick to it. Golden chance to double that lead again for George Washington, and now on the second shot from the far point, it'll be swallowed up and covered. I think that's a wise decision for Veronica Heil.
Very much so. The Colonials were knocking on the door. They had plenty of chances. A lot of good passing down there. They beat the defense again, but Heil, again, just managing to cover for her defense when they've hung her out to dry.
Yeah, I knew it was trouble when the Colonials beat out that icing call, and it's like I said a couple minutes ago, the Lady Icepack just looked tired out there. They needed to get some rest, and I guess the media timeout wasn't enough for them.
And it gets tougher and tougher to get your legs back after each shift as the game goes on. As a wrist shot deflected to the near corner, collected by Neville, back to the point for Shelby Weaver. She'll step into the top of the circle, risks one wide on the near side. But it's still George Washington puck. Neville forks it to the middle, stepping up at the defense. Gaudet de Lestard clears it out. Furthered along now, Hannah Murphy in control. Around Shelby Weaver, she'll circle behind the net. Centering past the one-timer, goes wide on the near side.
Oh my goodness, what a chance.
And that was a point-blank opportunity for NC State's Lauren Smith, and just couldn't steer it in the right direction. And we'll get a whistle here. NC State offside. It was Julie Brenneman caught inside the GW end. And we'll get a face-off now in neutral ice.
Quite a lot happening right there. A lot of back and forth. Not able to keep up with all the different things that were happening out there. But referees finally called that offsides, and we'll have this face-off here.
It'll be one backwards by Elise Borelli of George Washington, cleared right back up the boards by Bolger. And Erika Jacobson will possess for NC State. Pass straight up the middle will be swept along to the sideboards, looking for Brenneman. On that play was number 12, Liza Eskander, but they couldn't connect, and so GW has possession now. A battle at the GW blue line, won by NC State's Lauren Smith. She's going to race down into the corner after it, with Bolger hot on her heels. Deflected back to the point. Again, Jacobson. Wrist shot. Hits a body in front. It was Borelli who blocked that shot and eventually forced it out of the zone. And they will continue now. Nick Swart cutting to the middle. Nice little poke check by Jacobson, but it'll be held in at the blue line by Bolger. Near point. She'll fight for it, and eventually it's swept out by NC State's Lauren Smith. 7.5 to go here in period number 3. 4-3, NC State trails George Washington. Jacobson trying to do it herself here. Takes it to the net. Wrist shot might have caught the glove of Lawler, but ends up wide. Centered back out in front. Loose on the near post, and Smith will be knocked to the ice as the whistle blows. But a lot of chances in tight there for NC State, and they just haven't been able to find a hole in Lawler on those posts.
Like I've been saying all third period, they're finally getting those opportunities that they want. They're getting those looks across the middle and up close, but the defense has held strong, and especially Lawler has just been there when she needs to be.
Absolutely. As I was saying earlier, she can make those saves when they need her to, and she has.
Spencer Neville in control on the near sidewall for George Washington. Her clearance stopped up at the blue line by NC State's Gaudet de Lestard. Her shot blocked, and it's turned right back out by Shelby Weaver and the Colonials. Wrist shot from the far circle. Not the best of angles, and Heil has no trouble once again.
something to watch for as this game continues is if the Icepack can get that offensive pressure as they had at the beginning of the second period, because the ice looks like it's tilted towards this left end, and the Colonials have the puck a lot more often than they did earlier. The Icepack need those chances.
I think what we're seeing is George Washington, whether it was intentional or not, got a little extra rest in that second period, and it didn't come back to bite them as they didn't give up a goal until the third. But I think that extra energy that was saved up in the second is starting to show up here in the final 6.5 minutes. Still NC State, though, in possession. Emily Peterson looking for the hat trick. It's blocked and deflected up over the net off the blocker of Lawler. And play continues. Far wall. It's De La Star. Wrist one just over the crossbar and wide from a bad angle. And now GW can move forward. Spencer Neville in transition alone. Wrist one wide on the near side. And NC State gets a chance to set up defensively. Nice job by Maddie Muller knocking down a centering pass and clearing it up the boards. Shelby Weaver slaps it right back into the NC State end and behind Heil, where it can be collected by Carrie Gade de la Star. She'll look up the ice. Straight in on the netminder, and Blair Lawler will set it on a tee. Stolen away by Peterson. Looking to the near side, nobody there to make a pass, and she'll circle herself. Wrist shot, blocker down by Lawler, and she'll jump on the rebound and cover up for a face-off. Well, NC State doing just about everything right in that sequence except putting it in the back of the net.
And that's what they've been doing all third period. They've been getting those opportunities, and aside from a goal from Emily Peterson, they just haven't been able to get those opportunities to go. Again, they got a pass right across the middle. They skated it directly into the teeth of the defense, but the defense held strong and knocked it away.
Shots right now, 33-23 in favor of George Washington. But NC State has been getting the better of the chances here in the last few minutes. Losing control, Tori Boyd. That'll give George Washington a chance to move forward. It's Elise Borelli. She'll be forced off the puck entering the NC State zone. There to help out. Force it deeper is Nick Swart, but NC State will turn it back quickly. Carrie Gade de la Star tees one up, and pardon me, that was Murphy. Great blocker save made by Blair Lawler, who is without a stick right now. NC State needs to keep the pressure on, and the puck will be cleared out by George Washington. The stick of the netminder Lawler had got caught behind the net, but NC State unable to take advantage. Now it's Erika Jacobson weaving through the D. Wrists one just wide of the near post, and it'll be tracked down in the corner.
The Icepack are getting shots off. Again, just nothing on target right now. Kind of just throwing anything at the net and seeing what sticks. That's nothing so far.
4:20 left in the contest. Behind the net, NC State's Hannah Murphy has control. Stopping and starting, trying to find a lane in front. She does. It hit a body, and we got a pause here. I did not see the reason for the whistle, but NC State continues to increase the pressure here.
One thing I liked on that possession for NC State here is that they finally got the puck into the crease. They've been looking all around the outside for too long, and they've noticed that Lawler, one thing that she has not done exceptionally well while having a great afternoon is that she's been unable to control rebounds very well. So if they can get the puck and bodies in front of the crease, which was one of our keys to the game, they can put that puck in and tie this game up.
NC State wins it forward loose in the deep slot. On top of the crease, they can't put it home. High slot still loose. Another great chance for the Icepack, and George Washington gets it out of dodge for the moment. The chances can't get too much better if you're NC State. You're going to have to find a way to poke one of those past Blair Lawler. They'll fight along the near wall. That battle won by Trinity Diaz. And she'll get it deep into the NC State end. Turned right back out by Gade de la Star. And Shelby Weaver returns serve. This time it's Gade de la Star, and this will be an icing call as she didn't gain the red line. But that's the kind of game that I think George Washington is going to be willing to play. They'll let you mess around with the puck in neutral ice just as long as you can't get into any of those high danger areas in their end. And that is not what NC State wants to do. That's not the kind of game they'd like to play.
George Washington definitely playing with a bend, don't break mentality right now. Really giving them opportunities, but as long as they don't give up a goal, the Colonials will be happy with whatever happens.
Yeah, the Colonials on defense, they need to make sure that they are physical enough to keep those bodies out of the slot and out of the crease, as I was saying before, because NC State has kind of wisened to the idea that if they can get bodies in front of Lawler and the pipes, they can get a puck into the net. So if the Colonials can do a good enough job of blocking the passing lanes to keep the puck circling around the outside of the offensive zone for the Icepack, they will likely be able to neutralize that attack, and for the last 3 minutes and change of this game, be able to hold them off and wrap things up.
We're also going to keep an eye on Veronica Heil and see when that NC State ends up vacant when they are in need of a goal. But of course, still a little bit of time before we see that. Emily Peterson will steer a pass into the near corner on the forecheck. Gets a piece of it. Loose puck picked up by Lauren Smith, but she can't do much with it as it's cleared out into center ice by GW. NC State offside as they try to bring it back in. They'll have to touch up. And again, that gives George Washington a chance to clear. Along the far wall, Carrie Gaudet de la Star to the middle, looking for Peterson, and a nice stick from Trinity Davis to knock it down and clear it out. And that will bring Spencer Neville forward. Wrist shot, getting a piece of it initially was the defenseman. I believe that was Jacobson, but Heil able to corral the shot and hold on to the rebound.
I'm surprised that shot didn't float a little bit more in front of Heil, because, as you said, the defender got a stick to it. Often when you see something like that, it'll add a little bit of English to the puck and it might change course while it's in the air, but great adjustment from Heil. Make sure she sees it all the way in and locks it down, because another goal for the Colonials would have been deadly.
NC State in possession off the face-off. Moving up the near wing with it is Hannah Murphy, and she'll collect some speed. Blows past the defender in Bolger, sweeps it to the middle, nothing there. And now George Washington will move it up and out. This time it's teammate in Maria Stefanova putting it on net. Blocker down by Heil, and NC State can start a counter. A nice job by Weaver to shut down her number opposite Maddie Muller. But a good thought from Muller. Looked like she was trying to send it to the middle for a teammate to chase down. But the Icepack starting to run out of time. Just 1:40 to go. Swept wide. On the near wall, it's held in nicely by Robin Peterson. And eventually cleared out. Murphy again. It'll be slapped deep by NC State. Keep an eye on that net. Heil has not looked to her bench yet, but you got to think they'd like the extra attacker here soon. Maria Stefanova stumbling across the red line, trying to force it down into the NC State end and keep Heil in the net. She'll get some help from Trinity Davis, who's hauled down entering the zone, but she does force it down under the NC State goal line. They've got to go the full length of the ice. Peterson trying to get out of the zone with speed. Pickpocketed nicely by Elise Borelli to the middle. Borelli gets it back. It squeaks through the legs of Heil and in. That one might seal the deal. 46 seconds to go, and it just squibbled through the legs of Veronica Heil to make it 5-3.
And that was just a great job by the Colonials there. That might be the nail in the coffin. Score is now 5-3 in favor of George Washington.
And NC State just used their timeout as they'll try to recollect. And I think what may be what you look back on at the end of this game is the Icepack's decision not to pull Heil, as they had the puck in the offensive zone with about 2 minutes, 90 seconds left in this game. I guess they just didn't have enough faith in their neutral zone control if the puck got cleared out to be able to defensively hold off a long-range shot from the Colonials if and when that puck got out of the offensive zone. And that may come back to bite them, as an extra attacker may have been able to help put in that tying goal, especially with the kind of pressure that they were putting on in the offensive zone.
To be pedal to the metal here for NC State with 46 seconds to go. They need 2 tallies to tie the game and force extra time.
And they haven't put that goal up on the board yet, but it's only a matter of time, I would assume.
The shots have become much more even. It was 19-9 after 1 period, but NC State has evened it up. They have 25 now to George Washington's 34. And play resumed. Well, it'll get stopped just as quickly as it restarted. And some discussions being had at the George Washington bench about what exactly is going on. I think they might be pointing towards that scoreboard about the 4-3 score that's up there.
Definitely want credit for that 5th one there. Don't want to leave anything to chance right now.
And you see NC State off on a jump here, right off the face-off, trying to create some pressure and a turnover, and they do in neutral ice, but they can't control it for long. Taken right back, though, by Erika Jacobson. Weaving in, sends it to the middle on a backhand. Blocker down by Lawler, still loose in the slot. Nobody gets to stick to it for the Icepack. And they'll look to continue the attack. Held in on the near point by NC State's Carrie Gaudet de la Star. She'll shovel it into the corner, sent right back to her, looking to the middle for a teammate in Lauren Smith, but that will be all that's left. NC State gets some extended zone time late, but the late goal for George Washington seals the first ACCHL Women's Championship. George Washington wins this one 5-3, but a great showing for both teams.
Absolutely, both teams played their hearts out there, and really great things to take away for both squads out here. George Washington coming away with the win, of course, can hold their head high, but NC State, of course, can feel very proud of where their program is headed. We talked about Heil this entire game, only a sophomore, still a lot of a bright future for both of these programs here in the ACCHL.
Absolutely nothing to hang your head about if you're NC State. You put up a great showing in your first game out as a program, and I would venture to guess that they will be back in this tournament as it expands for many years to come.
And after talking to a few of the players before coming to Winston-Salem, they weren't sure exactly how it would go because they hadn't played a game yet, and I think they're going to be very proud of the effort they put out there and the result that they had. The final count, once again, George Washington 5, NC State 3, here in the ACCHL Women's Championship for the first time. There you get a look at the George Washington Colonials women's hockey team celebrating their ACCHL championship here today over the NC State Icepack by a final count of 5-3. Chris Lehman, Logan Ward, Graham Tuck here with you at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, and we're going to wrap it up here quickly for you guys. We do want to note the MVP given out to number 4, the graduate student Shelby Weaver out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Had a couple of goals, spent some time in the penalty box, but that had to do with her tenacity as a defenseman, and she really earned that MVP honor tonight.
She did a great job out there in every facet of the game. She was present throughout offense and defense, really made her impact felt on this game, especially utilizing her speed to get open for goals.
Absolutely, and if you're George Washington, you're glad that, you know, you can build on this as a program, but you're a little bit sad because Shelby Weaver's going to be leaving you as a graduate student, but nonetheless, you know that for both of these teams, you have something that you can build on, and I would not be surprised if these teams are in not just the tournament, but the championship game again soon.
We're going to give our final thoughts here, guys, as we finish it up. For the first big event here for the ACCHL women's hockey, it certainly seemed to be a great success.
It was an incredible debut. I'm very happy to have been a part of it. But just seeing the competition out there, seeing how much this meant, and seeing a decent showing from the fans as well, this means a lot, and this is going to be a great program for years to come.
Absolutely right. And for George Washington, this is something that you can cherish, but for NC State as well, you're glad that you were able to put up a competitive game in your first time out on the ice. And as well for George Washington, with the season that they've had, it not very, enthusiastic as the results have not gone their way many times before, but you're glad that you finally got to play a game that, it plays to your strengths and able to take advantage of it.
We are going to wrap things up here from the Women's Championship. Plenty of action still here in Winston-Salem, though, today. A pair of semifinals The next one up will also involve George Washington as they take on second-seeded Wake Forest, the host school here of the ACCHL tournament. But the final count here in the Women's Championship is George Washington 5, NC State 3.